Ako na problema kung asan na makakita. Sa dahon nga laya, akong amigo nagtinga, pili na siya.
Greetings, I am Legacy Moon, and this is True Crime and Mysteries. Welcome back, current subscribers, new subscribers, and for those of you who haven't subscribed, but you come here often, and welcome to those of you who are here for the very first time. Today, we are going to be talking about Facebook scammers. I found a story that I thought was very interesting, and as I was reading that, I found another one and another one. Then I went to see if I could find any clips, and when I found the clips to the story I wanted, I started finding other clips, and they were very interesting. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I'm going to present a few stories to you, as well as a few people who have been scammed through Facebook. And it's very interesting. So sit back, grab your coffee, grab your tea, your Kool-Aid, and sit on back, and let's get into it. For those of you who may not know, Facebook Marketplace is a place where you can go and buy used or new items. Now, I always knew it was there, but I just did not know too much about it until I have a friend. He buys a lot of gaming systems, gaming vintage games, old games, things like that, or what you see here in this photo, which are, I guess, headphones for gaming equipment and, controllers and things like that. So, that still was all I pretty much knew about it, was that, okay, well, I guess you can get good deals off of there, but I just never really went on there looking for anything. And this photo, it actually is of a Facebook Marketplace post. Let me introduce you to Yassini Rahi, and he is from Bayonne, New Jersey, a place I never heard of before in New Jersey, but okay, we'll go with it. And the equipment that I just showed you belonged to him. That is one of his Facebook Marketplace ads. A 22-year-old unidentified victim contacted Yassini, and he was interested in buying a PlayStation from him. So, he was like, okay. And he set up a meeting in a small town by the name of Moonachie. And I have not heard of that place in New Jersey either, but that's where he set up that meeting. And they were supposed to meet at around 5:00. So Yassini gets there, and the man is there, and the man is getting ready to exchange money for what he thought was a PlayStation, but instead, Yassini robbed him of his $275. Needless to say, the man did not get a PlayStation. Instead, the 22-year-old victim contacted the police and got a police report. So police has the report from this 22-year-old victim, and they decide to start investigating a small string of burglaries with similar incidents in the northern part of New Jersey, in which, a seller would advertise to sell some type of, gaming equipment, and he would set up his little Facebook account, and the victims would go to purchase whatever it was they were interested in, and instead they would be robbed. One of the victims was even hit by a car. And here again, the victims got nothing but robbed, their money taken from them. And I'm assuming the money that was taken was probably the full amount of whatever it was that they were going to purchase. Well, I guess, the police did their little police thing, and put together fake Facebook pages and marketplace ads. And they set up a sting, and they were able to catch Usini. And on April 4th, 2024, he was charged with first-degree robbery, second-degree aggravated robbery, assault, third degree, and leaving the scene of an accident resulting in serious bodily injury, as well as fourth degree theft and a couple of other things that they probably threw in. I'm sure that we all know this is all alleged and he's innocent until proven guilty. But if only this 18-year-old had got a job instead of choosing to just make these Facebook marketplace ads and rob people. Because I'm going to tell you, to me, that just seems like hard work. It just seems easier to clock in at McDonald's than to set up these robberies, because you have to use your mind. You have to set up these profiles, put up these ads. To me, it's just easy to go carefree and fancy to McDonald's, flip some burgers for a couple of hours, clock out and go home. To me, that's easier. But, maybe the younger mind thinks different. I don't know. Now, there will not be a news clip on this story because I could not find one. I barely found this story. Found it by accident while I was working on the next one that I'm going to tell you about. But I find that a little suspicious too, I don't know, but yeah. So we're going to move on to the next one. This young man right here is 18-year-old Maurice Verato. And let me tell you about Maurice. I do believe that he is probably very intelligent because he had a very, very elaborate Facebook scheme set up that has even astounded police officers. Maurice set up a Facebook profile. It doesn't say that it was Facebook Marketplace because I kind of checked a couple of different sources and all they said was Facebook. It didn't say Marketplace, so we'll go with that. He set up these Facebook profiles where you can rent a car. Now, here's the thing. People were renting the cars, but Maurice, he's 18. He doesn't have cars. And when I say cars, I mean plural and not singular. He was renting out multiple cars. So, he would collect money. Now, people would pay a Facebook app profile, whatever. They would pay to rent these cars, sight unseen. All they had was a picture. And once they rented the car, Maurice would send them an address. So they would go and knock on the door and say, I'm here to pick up the car for rent. And the people would answer and they'd be like, what are you talking about? And needless to say, you had angry people. They were angry at these people whose house they were at because they feel like those people ripped them off. After all, they saw the ad on Facebook. This is the car right here that I saw. I'm supposed to rent it. I gave you a deposit. And, this just kept happening. But the thing of it is it kept happening in the same neighborhood. And it had gotten to a point where neighbors were ready to fight each other over this, thinking that this one was doing it to that one and so on and so forth. Meanwhile, I can imagine that Maurice is probably sitting at his house looking out the window. And why do you ask? Well, because Maurice this is how the scam worked. He went around to his neighbors' houses and he took pictures of their cars and he advertised their cars on these fake Facebook profiles that he had where you can rent a car. And so people would pay the deposit and go to pick up the car because once they paid the deposit, Maurice would give them the address. And so here they are at the address to pick up the car that they paid for, and so all these neighbors on this one street were confused, not understanding what was going on. Well, where Maurice was sitting in his house, giving out their address and taking pictures of their cars and advertising them on Facebook. And he even had the forethought to think ahead. If the heat got too hot on one page, he just went to another one. He created multiple pages for this scam. And the thing about it is that he would have kept on doing it. I don't know what made the police turn to him, but they were very shocked that they had themselves an 18-year-old by himself. There's nobody else involved in this. It's only him. He set this up and he was doing this, and he didn't even leave his neighborhood. He did it right there to his very own neighbors. I'm going to give you an example of one of the renters. He wanted to rent a vehicle because, first of all, let me just say, I know I didn't mention it, but this happened in New Jersey as well. But anyway, you had a man by the name of Mr. Rios. He wanted to rent a vehicle to take a 5-day trip from New Jersey to Orlando, Florida. And he had to make 2 payments totaling $370. He made those payments and he went to go pick up the car. And this car was for a Mercedes Benz. He went to go pick up the car and, I don't think so. So that's just to give you an example of how people were honestly thinking that they were renting these cars. And it just wasn't the case. It was all a scam. I personally would not rent a car, pay a deposit, sight unseen, without even looking the person in their eyes and getting the keys before I gave any money over. But that's just me. So here is what some of the neighbors have to say about what was going on in this scam. But before I play that clip, I just want to say that if he was able to come up with this elaborate scheme by himself and put it all together and keep it afloat, what could he have done using his mind for good, like perhaps maybe going to college or maybe learning some type of trade or something. I mean, he apparently has the mind to do great things. And I just wish that he would have thought of that before he thought of getting quick money with a scam.
An elaborate Facebook scam putting an entire neighborhood on edge.
And there has been a break in the case, and we're learning the suspect lived very close to his alleged victims. Local 10's Andrew Perez is live in Dania Beach with the exclusive tonight. Andrew.
This is part of a much bigger issue, by the way, that we exposed exclusively here on Local 10 News. In this case, with this suspect, he's only 18 years old. No more Facebook for a while for 18-year-old Maurice Verrado. He's the man, say deputies, behind an elaborate Facebook scam that turned victim against victim, and there were many. Things turned violent.
People have complete strangers coming to their home saying they're here to rent their car, having no idea who this person is. The person that's going to the home having no idea they're about to find out that they've been scammed.
Prosecutors say it was a recipe for disaster. Verrado posting fake rental ads using his neighbors' cars in Dania Beach, they say, collecting deposits to rent those cars, then giving his neighbors' addresses for pickup. Strangers would keep showing up to those homes. What's their reaction when you tell them my car's not for rent?
I don't think they believe me.
I didn't even know you can rent a car on that Facebook app.
Didn't you think that if he got caught, he's going to go to jail for a long time?
Robert Vasquez is relieved his son's car was smashed up after one of those misunderstandings with a renter online. Deputies got to Verrado through a series of numbers and emails, writing subpoenas or warrants to companies like Google, Zelle, and Facebook, connecting a million little pieces to Verrado, who they say acknowledged to creating fake Facebook screen names a long time ago and always having backup accounts in case Facebook took his down. He's facing 13 different charges, and his mother asked the court for some slack to get him out.
And I was just trying to see if he could get a lower bond because I really don't have it like that.
Is there anything else that you'd like to share?
Nothing else. That I'm just sorry for everything.
I just want to point out it's still unclear exactly how many victims are involved just with him. We're still trying to work all that. He's got a $50,000 bond. He's got an upcoming hearing to try and reduce that bond that will, of course, be attending. But again, this is part of a much bigger problem with Facebook Marketplace scams that we've been covering. You're going to want to check out some of the stories and some of the other victims in other cases that we've interviewed and covered on our website, local10.com. That's the latest here in Dania Beach, though. I'm Andrew Perez, Local 10 News.
Next up, I have a man who needed a car, and he purchased one through Facebook. And let's listen to his story and see what happened to him.
$100 on a deal he found on Facebook Marketplace. Unfortunately, he didn't know he was corresponding with a scammer.
Oh, goodness. The online site has recently become a real go-to destination for people to buy and sell personal goods.
WAT6 on your side consumer reporter Don Dare says once the initial payment was sent, the scammer wanted more money. Don.
Well, that's right, Bo. Al Moss needed to send $1,000 more. You know, more than 1 billion users buy and sell goods on Facebook Marketplace each month. But they aren't the only ones cashing in. The Federal Trade Commission reports Facebook Marketplace scams are on the rise, mainly because there is a lot more direct interaction and conversation with sellers by either email or text messaging. Many who fall for the hoax, like Al did, believe it's legitimate up to a certain point.
Al Moss believed he found a bargain when he saw this truck for sale on Facebook Marketplace.
It's a 2001 Toyota Tacoma.
How much?
For $800.
What a bargain.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. It seemed like a good bargain.
Al wanted to believe the rock bottom price because his car doesn't run and he needed new wheels. Who is the seller?
It's a woman named Wendy Robinson.
The so-called seller sent a picture of herself. It's a military ID, which was likely stolen, and with the photo came a convoluted story.
According to her email she sent me, she's with a military medical team, and they're about to leave the country.
Wendy tells Al he'll have the truck in a few days, and she's selling it because she doesn't want to pay storage and insurance on it while she's away.
Her husband had died, and she just wanted to get rid of the truck or she's going to be out of the country.
The seller had you arrange the deal with what, eBay Motors?
Yes. No, I figure, well, it's eBay, yeah. Supposed to be a good company, it might be legit. So I tried it and went through all the process of purchasing a truck with the invoice, and we kept responding through text messages, and once I sent the money, it was a wrap then.
Al sent 4 prepaid cards, each worth $200, but the $800 was just the beginning.
Because they wanted extra money. That's what got me. Why should I have to send extra money to pay for the insurance if you already covered the insurance and shipping fees? So why should I have to send extra money?
How much more did you have to pay?
They wanted me to send an extra $1,000.
So you think all the time you're actually corresponding with these folks from eBay and they're giving you this line about the truck when it doesn't even really exist?
Yes.
You wanted to cancel, but then they tell you there's a cancellation fee?
Yes, of $200. And I'm like, why should I have to cancel something that I haven't even gotten?
Here are the red flags about this phony deal. eBay is never involved with transactions from other sites like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. You cannot meet the seller or look at the vehicle prior to sending a payment. And the vehicle is advertised well below what it's worth.
And I looked on Facebook last night. The truck is still there.
Looking for another
buyer or another sucker like me. And it's sad if people out here want to scam folks. My fault is when I seen the invoice from eBay, I didn't actually go onto their actual website. What's the old saying? If it's too good to be true, it usually is.
Obviously, thousands of people have safely sold or bought their car or truck using sites like Marketplace, eBay, or Craigslist, and thousands more will. Facebook has taken steps to prevent scams. On Facebook Marketplace, it's created several protections for both buyers and sellers. For starters, buyers can leave reviews for sellers using a 5-star system based on their experience during the transaction. Look for badges like super seller or very responsive and more. And one other thing, if you are asked to send the seller gift cards as a form of payment, you might want to think twice before sealing the deal. Some things to know.
This next story you're about to see is a woman who is no stranger to purchasing things off of Facebook Marketplace and, other ads that she's seen on Facebook. She's done it many times before, never had a problem. So she never foresaw a problem coming up. But let's see what happened to her.
A Bargersville woman is sharing a lesson she learned the hard way after using the Facebook Marketplace for a major purchase. Mandy Hollingsworth thought she was getting a good deal on a refrigerator, but as RTV6's Cornelius Hawker shows you, that deal has turned into an expensive problem.
Like so many of us, Mandy Hollingsworth uses Facebook Marketplace to buy things directly from people in her community.
You bought a washer and dryer and it was fine.
I did.
Yeah.
It was fine. I paid cash. Everything was fine, and that's why I thought, okay, this is perfect.
This stainless steel refrigerator was listed online for $650, the seller claiming it even included a warranty. After going back and forth with the seller, everything was set. Mandy agreeing to pay cash for the fridge, giving them an extra $40 to have it delivered, totaling $690.
When the gentleman delivered the refrigerator, he said, please wait an hour because of the Freon.
At this point, Mandy says she still had no reason to think anything was fishy because she had done her research. The person on Facebook Marketplace had good reviews.
An hour, probably about 20 minutes later, I was like, I'm going to go ahead and try it. I plugged in the electric cord and nothing happened.
She waited just a bit longer, hoping it would kick on, but then reality set in. The fridge wasn't getting cold, and she had been scammed.
About 15 minutes later, I looked on my receipt. There was a number provided, and called the number, and the lady was like, no. She goes, I'm sorry. She goes, I've never, ever delivered appliances. I've never sold appliances on the Marketplace.
After looking online, Mandy saw this has happened to at least one other person where she lives, someone using a bogus business name, Shadelin Appliances, and selling a broken refrigerator. Considering this post with a warning about Shadelin Appliances was from 2017, there's no telling how many people this has happened to. People like Mandy who've lost money not only on a broken fridge, but also replacing all this food and buying a refrigerator that actually works.
My message is definitely to do your research. And don't trust everybody on the Marketplace.
Mandy tells me it would be great to get all that money back, but she's not counting on that, so she plans to go to the police to hopefully have them investigate this scam to stop it from happening to anyone else. Working for you, I'm Cornelius Hawker for RTV6.
Unfortunately, scams like this have been happening since Facebook Marketplace started a few years ago. Facebook urges users to get all identifying information they can about a person before meeting up to make a trade. You can even meet at police stations to buy smaller items, but if a seller has to come to your house, write down their license plate info so you can have something to share with police if it turns out to be a scam.
Now we're going to hear a story about a scary situation. Now, this lady, she has not purchased anything off of Facebook Marketplace, but apparently someone hacked into her Instagram and Facebook accounts, took them over, and was advertising things to sell. So she was just getting bombarded with people trying to purchase, or people who've handed over money that have purchased things and they want to pick them up. And she has no idea what they're talking about. In addition to that, people started coming to her house because there was a sectional sofa advertised and they gave her address and they were going to her home. She had to go to the police. This woman was receiving threats through Facebook, multiple posts where people wanted to literally come and beat her up. So this is taking a look at it from someone who wasn't trying to purchase off of Facebook Marketplace, but was still nevertheless scammed by Facebook Marketplace.
Well, only on 2 tonight, a Katy woman says somebody hacked into her Facebook account pretending to sell items she has never even seen before. And now she says multiple interested buyers have just shown up at her house, at her door, threatening her with seemingly no way to remove this fake ad. She says she is growing afraid for her life. KPRC2's Devin Clark explains.
I'm at a loss.
Monique Sherman says she hasn't been able to sleep in 2 weeks.
I'm feared for myself, and I'm also upset for other people.
It all started when she was locked out of her Instagram and Facebook accounts.
And I was online actually posting, and then it flickered, and then it asked me to put in password. I was like, okay, put in my password, it wouldn't work.
She says what came next was even more unexpected.
I kept on getting activity to my phone, saying I'm selling this, selling that, 73 things, and I'm like...
73 things?
Mm-hmm. Chicken coops. Chicken coops, all kind of stuff.
But Sherman says it was this fake ad selling a couch she'd never even seen before that brought people to her front door looking for the furniture they'd already paid someone else for.
I go out there, and he was like, yeah, I'm here to pick up a couch. 2 guys.
So far, she knows of 3 people showing up to her house. They had messages sent from her account.
So this is someone actually pretending to be you, saying if you're really interested, you can make a deposit to get the post down ASAP.
The messages also include a picture of her ID she thinks the hackers were able to access from the cloud.
That's what really scared me.
Sherman says she's so scared of would-be buyers showing up at her home that she put the fake post on her door along with the police report she filled out, hoping to deter them. She says she's also in the process of installing a brand new home surveillance system.
They made a post. People were tagging me and saying, oh yeah, we're gonna get her.
She says she was able to get that post taken down by reaching out to the user through a different page she has advertising her art. But with the fake couch ad still up, she's preparing for more restless nights.
And then this is the map of my address.
Like Sherman, we tried reaching out to Meta, the company that owns Facebook, and got no response. The app does offer advice for keeping your account safe. That includes making sure you have a unique and private password, activating 2-factor authentication, and login alerts. But after this...
Right here, my age, my birthday.
Sherman says she's taking a break from social media altogether. In Katy, Devin Clark, KPRC 2 News.
If there's anyone who's watching this video, if you follow the Ernest L. Williams case, if you're following that right now, one thing that you know is it's a lot of AI going on right now in the world today. And I have a sad story right here by a man and his wife who was scammed by Facebook through way of an AI and Elon Musk.
It seemed too good to be true, and it was. But when this retiree realised he was the victim of an elaborate scam, it was too late. He lost all of his savings. No one deserves that, especially not Gary.
You are embarrassed because you're a fool, but you're not a fool, but you got done. And then now all your plans aren't there anymore.
Gary Meechan lives a modest life in the idyllic Hunter Valley, in the town of Broke. And now, thanks to an online scam, he's broke in Broke.
All up was $411,000.
Like many of his generation, he fell hard for a fake Facebook ad.
And I was following Elon Musk, and I saw him there, and I saw the Prime Minister's face there, and Julia Gillard, and a few stars through the media industry, and I thought, well, this is pretty well safe.
But it wasn't safe. It was a deep fake AI-generated ad.
What's the difference between those scammers and me? First off, I'm Elon Musk, and I need nothing from you. I will show you proof that my project really works.
The ad lured investors with promises of a better life.
Taking a vacation 10 times a year? No problem. Buying a house and paying off all debts? No problem.
And it wasn't Elon Musk. You know, it was
AI generated.
AI technology, you know. And it was on Facebook, And, you know, what can you say?
After Gary saw it, he and wife Ingrid responded online and were given a number to call. That's when the mysterious Raymond entered their life.
He was just...
He was very good,
He was very good. And he's got his blues music playing in the background, and he's singing along sometimes when you're delayed because you're trying to find a password or something like that. Very skilled, very friendly.
Raymond hooked them.
Highly sophisticated. The screen was there. You could read it every day. You could see it.
It was intoxicating.
It was intoxicating. You'd go and look at it 3 times a day just to see how much money you were making.
The couple began with a $20,000 investment in the supposed cryptocurrency investment scheme. Eventually, they tipped $350,000 in, and on the scam website, watched the $350 double.
We thought we'd make $1 million within 2 weeks.
Where's your investment?
My investment's here, 1 cent.
And why is it 1 cent?
Well, it used to be a big number there.
What was the number that used to be there? 750,000.
No, it was 700,000 up to one stage. Yeah.
So once you've paid your deposit, they give you access to this site.
Yeah.
But for all intents and purposes, this is just all
rubbish. Yeah.
It's just fantasy.
Yeah.
Gary, a trained chef turned landscaper, and wife Ingrid fell on some hard times during the GFC 15 years ago, but rebuilt their nest egg to more than $400,000. They planned to caravan around Australia.
We definitely deserve to, be successful and be given something for all the effort that we've done. I mean, my wife is a nurse. She's been a nurse all her life, and she's been a caring nurse.
He himself has received numerous awards for service in the community.
Oh, here you are. Landscaping excellence. Yeah. I got a job for you at my place. Oh, hello. Queen Elizabeth II. Oh, this is the Centenary Medal.
Yeah.
You got a Centenary Medal?
Yep.
Yes, that's all right.
Services to the community and charities and all the things, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Good on you.
Done my bit as an Australian, I can tell you.
Yeah, you deserve better than what you got.
The couple knew they were in trouble when they tried to withdraw money. As soon as they did, the scammers asked for a further $60,000 to release their own funds.
When we knew the money was actually gone, that's when it hit. And that's when your dreams and your future is suddenly smashed. And that's when you think to yourself, that's when the fear comes into your gut. And that's when you start to break down mentally because it takes you to a hole. You go into a hole.
But you're a smart guy, Gary. Like, how did it happen?
That's what he kept saying.
What did he say?
He said, "You're a smart guy, Gary. You're not stupid. All the clients I have, you're clever." And he kept saying that. It's funny, isn't it?
Gary has enlisted the services of Cybertrace, which hunts down stolen money. CEO Dan Halpin.
Scam video. We're dealing most of the time with international scammers who are attached to criminal syndicates. So we're an easy target. We've got money. And the main point that needs to be made here is that they know the Australian authorities won't go after them.
Gary and Ingrid are pleading for help. Firstly, from the multi-billionaire owner of Facebook.
We focus on building technology so people can interact with each other.
I'm saying to you, Mark Zuckerberg, why don't you give it back to some of the victims that have been caused by you making money out of this activity?
And the police.
I want the police to try and get me money back. We deserve it. And, who's stopping this? Why does this ad exist?
I'm eagerly awaiting you at the next stage. See you soon. Goodbye.
Gosh, you feel for Gary, don't you? And these social media giants have a lot to answer for. I don't know how many times we've alerted them to scams like this, using Aussie billionaires, us TV types, to rort and rip off people. We have no power to stop it, and those who do, they don't seem to care.
This last story that I have is not someone who was scammed through Facebook or any app. She was scammed by a real life person that she knew. And it's a very sad story. I just wish that this woman would have done due diligence and not let herself get as involved with the scam as she did. But this also goes to show you, for those of you who may not understand how, if you give somebody money and they don't give you what they promised, or they don't return what they promised, it kind of gives you the idea and the mindset of someone who will continue to just kind of give money because they're holding out on hope that they'll get what they gave back. You know, because I know a lot of people don't understand that. But, you know, maybe if you saw this story and heard it from the mouth of a victim, maybe, you know, you can kind of, you know, have a little bit of empathy or understand why someone would continue to give someone money.
Wealthy, and I've been broke, and I've been wealthy again, and now I'm broke.
She had started building a successful real estate company around the time Hurricane Katrina hit and the market blew up on the North Shore. Barron's real estate used to be housed here in downtown Covington. So you went from a multi-million-dollar business to not being able to buy food to feed yourself.
That's correct. That's correct. We almost lost the house. If they hadn't allowed me to put it in forbearance, we would have lost the house.
Hurricane Ida ripped it apart 3 years ago, but the extensive damage still isn't fully repaired because she doesn't have the money to fix it.
There's a good boy.
If you're wondering what happened to all her money, Barron's didn't lose it living a lavish lifestyle. It was a decade-long downward spiral that she says started with a kind gesture.
I had money. I had a lot of money. And I'm a believer in what goes around comes around. I have all the IOUs.
More than 10 years ago, Barron's first started loaning money to her hairdresser's daughter, Melissa Ficara Cagle, or Missy. They sealed each loan with a handwritten IOU. Over the years, one turned into a stack as the IOUs piled up.
This one is when it started, $18,000.
By April of 08.
Yes.
$115,000.
Yes. She signed all these in front of me. We're almost at $1 million here. Here's 2011, $1.4 million.
Barron's said Cagle told her she needed the money to help pay the court and attorney's fees for these two Ficara family lawsuits. Cagle claimed they would be settled for millions of dollars and that she was getting a significant chunk of the money. In return for helping her pay the legal fees, Cagle promised to pay Barron's millions. How did she get money out of you?
She'd say, I need $10,000 for this. I need $750 for document copies. I need, you know, there was always something.
These bank statements show tens of thousands of dollars in wire transfers from Barron's to Cagle, and text conversations dating back to 2020 that Barron says she exchanged with Cagle connect the dots. I reviewed 1,600 pages of messages. They all followed a similar pattern. On September 8th, 2022, Cagle tells Barron's she needs $10,000 that day to pay invoices, or the suit will be dismissed and they would lose all the money they invested. Rhonda replies that she's asking friends and applying for credit, but she can only get $1,600. Cagle fires back, quote, "It's no sweat off my back anymore, Rhonda. I'm sick of trying to protect a $12 million investment."
It was $10,000 here and $5,000 here, and it just kept going and going and going. So every time I had a sale, she took my whole commission.
Barron's borrowed money from a handful of friends and family, getting in so deep she couldn't pay it back, doing things she's not proud of. Barron's has since been sued at least 6 times for over $50,000. She says she was desperate for Missy to get the lawsuit settled to get her money back and their money back. Barron's close relatives stepped in to help. He asked not to be identified by name.
Because I had resources, and Rhonda was, according to her, getting ready to lose everything. I just kept feeding the pig.
In all, how much money did she take from you over the years?
Over $3 million.
Over $3 million?
Yes. Yes.
A lot of people might watch this and say, How did you let it get that far, you know?
She was plausible. She had an answer.
For years, Cagle claimed to be paying two New Orleans attorneys named Mark Vicnair and Jeffrey Smith. She sent Behrens these invoices as proof that Vicnair and Smith needed more money to keep the lawsuit going. Behrens' texts show on February 26th of last year, Cagle sent her this invoice, allegedly from Vicnair, for $16,160. When Behrens questions it, Cagle texts her, quote, "His daughter has cancer. He needs his money." Cagle even sent these supposed screenshots of her texts with Vicnair to back it up. But here's the thing.
So I called attorney Mark Vicnair. He's never heard of Melissa Cagle, and he does not have a daughter with cancer. I also called attorney Jeffrey Smith. He's never heard of her either. Do you know this woman?
No.
Smith only practices criminal law and says he's never really handled civil cases. And he has never called his law firm the Smith Law Firm, as it's written here on these fake invoices.
So if you look at this invoice, it actually has your address on it for your law firm here.
It has our phone number?
Mm-hmm. Have you ever invoiced someone
No,
in a way that looks like that?
never.
Cagle also sent fake court documents to Behrens, like this settlement agreement, claiming it was pending for one of the lawsuits. It says Blue Cross was going to pay Cagle's father, Sal Ficara, $28 million. Looking at it now, there are many red flags about the document, including the fact that Ficara's lawsuit was never filed in Jefferson Parish, as this fake document claims. But Behrens and her relatives say they didn't know the ins and outs of the legal system to tell the difference.
Reproducing invoices from attorneys, even documents from the court suggesting that a multi-million-dollar settlement was pending. I mean, the depth of the fraud and theft is extraordinary.
Her attorney declined to comment, and she didn't return my phone calls. In 2023, Cagle turned up the heat, asking for more money. She claimed someone was beating her because she couldn't come up with the cash and straighten it all out. She sent Behrens this photo of what appears to be a scrape on her forehead.
Did she tell you that too, that she was being beaten?
Yeah, she sent me the same picture.
And on May 30th, 2023, Cagle claimed she was desperate for money again, this time because the Jefferson Parish DA was threatening to arrest her if she didn't pay for some bounced checks. She sent Behrens this alleged screenshot of her voicemails with the JPDA's number on it. And this recording she claimed was a voicemail left by the DA.
Dana with the district attorney's office calling Melissa Cagle.
And the JPDA's spokesman had this to say when we asked them about it, quote, "The Jefferson Parish DA's office has no record of a criminal case or investigation involving a person named Melissa Christine Ficara Cagle."
Here's the real kicker. The lawsuits were both dismissed or settled more than 10 years ago, shortly after Behrens first started loaning Cagle the money.
This one settled in 2009, not for $28 million, but $175,000. The other suit was thrown out in 2011. For more than 10 years, Cagle kept the ruse going, but it was all a lie.
What did this do to your life, aside from losing your business? What did this do to your life?
It ruined my reputation. It caused me incredible physical problems as a result.
Cagle has since been indicted on a charge of exploitation of the infirmed because Behrens is over 65.
Let's go inside.
Behrens' relative also reported Cagle to police in Sandy Springs, Georgia, because he says she got $500,000 out of him, both directly and by helping Behrens stay afloat.
Right now, there is a warrant out for Cagle's arrest from Sandy Springs, and Behrens and her relative both say Cagle has confessed to them over the past year or so. And next Thursday night at 10, we'll have part 2 of this story. Find out why Cagle told them she did it.
This video all started with Maurice, who I'm sure his mother hasn't been able to get him out yet, as you could see on the Zoom court meeting that was on the clip. But this started with him. I simply went looking for the news clip for his story. And that's what led me to all of these other things. Then I figured I would share, because I'm gonna tell you, like I said, I knew Facebook Marketplace was there, but I never fooled with it. And I figured if all of this was like fascinating or interesting news for me, maybe somebody out there will be interested in it, or even think twice before they purchase anything off of Facebook Marketplace or Facebook in general. You have to really be careful these days. We're living in a different time now. We are living in a time where so many things are done over the computer that we've lost our sense of, I guess, our antennas going up. I know there will not have ever been a time in my life, yesteryear or now, where I would have bought a car or an appliance sight unseen and given money before I got the item. That's just not anything that I would have ever done. I'm very tight with my money. I'm very careful how I spend it. I love a good bargain, but I use my brain too. I can't get up off of money from something sight unseen. I mean, I tell you, I cringe when I order from Amazon because it's sight unseen. I have to touch it, feel it, smell it first. And when you order from Amazon, you just can't do that. But, I do online shopping from places like Amazon and Walmart and stuff like that. And even nowadays, when you order from legitimate places and you get things delivered, you still have to watch out for that, because there are people at the ready to steal it from you. That's probably going to be another video. But anyhow, I hope that this was informative to someone, or even if you know somebody who might need to see this video, go on and share it with them. But I hope that, it was informative and also gave you another look and perspective of the victims of these types of crimes. I thank you for listening. Once again, I am Legacy Moon. If you are not subscribed to this channel, you might want to go on up there and hit the subscribe button and tap the notification bell so that you know when I drop my next video. And if you do not mind, I wish that you would just give this video a thumbs up so that I can get my video in the beat of the algorithm.